Hi everyone. So today I'm just going to do a brief video on going over, this will be to help go over stuff that will be on the retake quiz. So again, this year probably a lot of these can be similar to the problems that we've seen in either past homework examples or review examples, but we're just going to go into more depth and hopefully this helps. So for our counting principle, so it's asking how many different meal choices you have. So it says lunch special, you can choose an entree, a drink, and one side dish. So remember for the counting principle is that we don't even have to make that tree diagram. So we can just go right ahead and see, we can make, remember how I've been emphasizing making little like hangman blanks, like little slots. So we have one slot for our entree, one slot for our side dish, and then one slot for our drink. Then with each of those slots, I want us to write down how many different options there are for each slot or each category. So for the entree, there's 3 options. You could choose pizza, chicken, or beef. For the side dish, there's 3 as well. And then for the drink, there's 4 options. Now, once you have all of your options for each category written out, then all you have to do for the counting principle, we can just multiply them across. And then once you multiply that, you know 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 4 is 36. So this answer here, 36, that's how many different meal choices you can create with these different choices of each category. So that's a little review of the counting principle. Now, you'll also see stuff like we've been dealing a lot with this exclamation mark, factorials. I wanted to show you guys how to type in a factorial on your calculator. So I'm going to show you on Desmos, and I had trouble showing you how to do it on a TI-84. Otherwise, there's a video linked, but this is just a screen, so you're going to hit that whatever number first. So let's say we're doing 10 factorial. You would type in, have a blank screen on your calculator, type in 10. Then you would hit the math button. It's kind of in the upper left-hand corner. Hit math. You go all the way over to where it says this, then your screen will look like this. And you're going to go all the way over to PRB, which stands for probability. So once you have that highlighted and your screen looks like this, you're going to go and select number 4, or you can just arrow down till you get to 4 and then hit enter. That little factorial button. But on Desmos here, if I can, Desmos, all you have to do, it said 10 factorial, so you just type in 10. Oh, come on. Oh, it's being difficult. 10, number 10, and then you can either type in on your keypad the exclamation point, or you can go here and hit exclamation mark. And then this answer here, a large number, that is what 10 factorial is equal to. So that's what you should be getting. Otherwise, you can take the time to type 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 until you get to 1, but this is just quicker. So now, moving on. Well, you'll see stuff like this. The C here, that stands for combination. So again, you're going to be able to do this on a TI-84. Well, you're going to type in that first. Well, first you're going to want to identify what your N and your R is. So remember that N is that total, and then your R is that amount being selected from the total. So in this example here, it gives it to us where it says N is 6 and R is 4, because if you look, that's where they're located here. Then once you type that in on your calculators, I'll show you how to do it on Desmos, and again, there's a video link for how to do it on your TI-84. Otherwise, it's just right here in that same factorial where you found the factorial, where you would type in your N number first. So our N is 6, so you type in 6 on a blank screen. You hit math, go over to probability, and you'll go down, and you'll go to choice 3, where it's NCR. You'll hit enter, and then you'll type the number 3, and you should get an answer being 20. So let's check it on our, that should be R, sorry. So now we'll check it on Desmos here. So for Desmos, so our N was 6, so we'll go back to our function. Oh, hit functions, and under functions, it might default to you guys to the trig option here. You're going to want to select stats, and then you're going to select, there's your 2 choices for this case of what we're doing, NCR or NPR, but this one said NC. C was the letter in the middle, so we'll do NCR. And then the first number was 6, so you do 6, that's your N. You'll do a little comma. Your R value, which in this case was 3, and another, you're going to close it off with another parenthesis. And sure enough, it gives us an answer of 20. So that is how you will do problems like this on Desmos. Otherwise, you can watch a video if my instruction on the TI-84 didn't help as much as you'd hope. So we know that's 20. Now we're going to do the same thing where it's 9p5. So 9p5. So we'll go back to Desmos. So we're going to go back to that functions button. Now it's instead of C, instead of a combination, now we're dealing with permutation. So now we're going to select NPR. So then it was 9 was our N. Don't forget the comma. And then I believe it was 3. I want to double check. 5. Whoops, not 3. That was 5. So we'll delete that, fix that. We'll close off the parenthesis. And it gives us an answer of 15,120. So I'll write that in. So that is how you go about typing in combinations and permutations on Desmos and a TI-84. And factorials. Don't forget about that. Now, permutations with identical items, we're going to count the ways to arrange the letters in the following words. So fire, remember how you take the number of letters, total letters, and you'll have that factorial over repeats. Repeats factorial. So let's do it with number 1, fire. All right, let's find our total number of letters for our numerator. There's 4. That means 4 factorial over. And fire does not have any repeats, so you can just write 1 factorial, or you can leave it as, because 1 factorial is just 1, and anything over 1 is itself. So you can just leave it as 4 factorial. And 4 factorial, let's see, what is 4 factorial? If you do not know it off the top of your head, it's 24. After you can type it in on your calculator. Now let's do apple. So apple, remember total letters. There's 5 total letters, so we know our numerator is 5 factorial. Now it's over the repeats. Now it looks like we have 2 p's, so I'll write over 2 factorial. That 2 stands for those 2 p's. So 5 factorial, you can type this in on your calculator. 5 factorial is 120, and 2 factorial is 2. So 5 factorial over 2 factorial. Now for the last one, banana, got to do the same. So total number of letters, there's 6. So 6 factorial over, now let's count how many A's there are. There's 3 A's. So well, that means because there's 3 of them, we put 3 factorial. And the N's, there's 2 N's, so we have to multiply that by 2 factorial. So now we have 6 factorial, which is 720 over, and 3 factorial is 6, and 2 factorial is 2. So then you're left with 720 over 12. And that your final answer is then 60. Again, feel free to pause or rewind or rewatch anything to help you get prepared for this retake. Now, we have another question. Molly is creating a password. Her password consists of 3 digits,